Hello, photographers. The last week when we were in class together, our first introduction of the week, we were introduced to how you actually take a quality photograph. We looked at several video clips. We looked at the National Geographic. We listened to several photographers. We read Gildan, Fodden, and Goob. We came with the idea that a photograph is interesting based on how we actually take the photograph, angles, natural lighting, making sure that your subject is interacting with the picture frame, thinking about opposites rather than exactly what everyone would do to really enhance the structure of our photograph. So as we come into this week, you will be instituting those practices and trying to take a quality photograph that someone cares about. Another aspect to this class is actually being able to write effectively about your work. When you go into a museum, oftentimes you'll look on the wall prior to entering into the gallery and you'll see a write up about a person's art. And what that is an artist statement. And the artist statement serves a purpose to make sure that the audience, when they view it, get a clear understanding of the perspective and angles in which the artist was trying to portray. So we're going to get introduced into what exactly an artist statement is, and you're going to have some small exercises with it as we get into the week because you will be introduced to your first photo shoot. Okay, so first let's actually define what an artist statement is. And an artist statement or artist statement is an artist's written description of their work. The brief verbal representation is for and in support of his or her own work to give the viewer understanding. And oftentimes, this is where we have the moment to captivate our audience, to get them interested in what they are about to look at, and make sure that we are all on the same page. That is, the audience, the artists, the viewers, all of its stakeholders, to make sure that we actually understand what we're about to look at and we know the intent of the artist as well. So, you're defining your body of work for your audience prior to them observing your work. This is important because you'll be doing this every single photo shoot that you have. They're going to start off really rough, and as we go along into the course, they will enhance. Your writing will get better, and you'll be able to incorporate techniques and strategies and some verbal knowledge of what actually goes on in the art room and in creation. So, when you think about an artist statement, you have to think about who you are. So, for example, my name is Ebony Johnson. We all know that. I am an African American artist living in Oxford, Mississippi from Leesburg, Virginia. Things like that to give you an understanding of the background and the context of the person that's actually shooting or the artist. My body of work consists of several different types of work, actually. Sometimes I do landscape, sometimes I focus on portraiture. I would say mainly I focus on the life of people when they're actually at that moment of rest. A lot of my body of work focuses on that. Your body of work will change week by week because you'll be given a different photo shoot week by week. So you will have to describe each one specifically, how you were going about to take the shot. What did you have to include? What elements, what principles, what what time of the day did you shoot? Different things like that. You'll have to consider all of that. So let's look at a different flow chart that we can use to help us begin to construct what an artist statement is. And again, this is just your first week being introduced to this. So your first ones will be a little rough. We're going to do some exercising in it so that you can understand and effectively write a very good artist statement. So let's look at where it says start here. Describe your work. Some questions to consider. What does your artwork look like? What is your subject matter? What is the title of your work? And what elements or principles are most obvious in your work? And you will learn about elements and principles this week. So let's take it from a very basic standpoint. The first thing says, what does your artwork look like? So are your photographs in color? Are they in black and white? Do you have people? Do you have live objects? Do you have objects that are dead? Do you have still objects? Do you have movement? Do you have a certain race? Do you have a certain ethnicity? All of those things are important to consider when you're actually developing your artist statement. From there, you go into actually how you created it. So we are in a photography class. Of course, it's obvious that we're using a camera, but what did you do with the camera? Did you have to set it up on a tripod? Did you have to go outside on location? Did you have different materials and resources that are incorporated into your photo shoot? Things like that. Third is what is the big idea behind your artwork? So again, what is it saying? I've stressed this to you every day for the first week in class. Your work needs to say something. Your work needs to question the world or show us what your perspective is on a given topic. Even if it's something as simple as the color red, how you feel about the color red. You're going to incorporate all of that into your artist statement. 4, what were your goals for this artwork? And in that case, you're probably trying to fulfill the aspects of the rubric, but there may be additional goals that you have that you can incorporate into it. And then finally, what are your overall thoughts of your work? How do you want people to view it? What do you want them to take away from it? All of those things are important in your artist statement. And again, an artist statement is just an overview of the work that we are about to see prior to entering your body of work. So this is an artist. She's a photographer. She's an Iranian photographer. Her name is Shirin Neshat. She's mainly shows her galleries in New York. Sometimes she shows in California. She's very famous. She's actually banned from Iran. She's not allowed to go back. And one thing that's important when you're developing a body of work is continuity. And what I mean by that is there are similarities in the photographs that you're seeing that show that they relate to the same body of work. So for example, we're going to take a look at her work, okay? And I'm going to show you some of the artist statements on her so you can get an idea of what you're looking towards. So let's read a little bit about it. I'll give you a couple moments to read. So again, as we see that she is, well, I'm noticing there's a typo. I apologize for that, her name. As we see, she was born in Iran, and it talks about where she developed her background, where she got her degree, different things of that nature. It also goes into the Women of Allah series, which was her 1993-1997 series, which explores notions of femininity in relation to Islamic fundamentalism and militancy in her home country. So if you look to the right of your screen, you will see the guns paired with the language along with different parts of the female body that are covered up. It was very, very provocative, obviously, because you have this gorgeous, gorgeous script paired with these angles of women and this intense notion of the idea of war and military. This was a part of her whole body of work, and her process was to print these extremely large photographs on board, and then after that, she would take the script and write on top of it. Okay, so when you talk about her artist statement, it's going into exactly what she wanted her audience to understand and see, as well as give us an idea prior to looking at it. And her artist statement is before on the website, it's before you enter into the virtual gallery. So really quick, some rules to go by. You want to open up your artist statement, argue it. So when you have the argument, that's more so your opportunity to say what you did, why you did it, and how you did it, leading into your evidence and then things that you want to stay away from. No flowery words. You're high school students, so you can be direct, you can be blunt. Don't give me a artist statement that has 1,000 words from the thesaurus that you don't even know how to spell or pronounce on a daily basis. Be very honest. There's no problem with that. Look at the example. My body of work is an exploration of objects and people. There are 2 aspects of reflection that I included, the throwing back of light and serious thought or consideration. To demonstrate the reflections, I focus on lighting, contrast, and emphasis to demonstrate how light is cast back from subjects. In the second aspect of reflection, I focus on eye angles, less distraction with no backgrounds. The elements used were value, color, line, texture, space, and form. The principles used were emphasis, contrast, and pattern. I'm not asking you for an essay. I'm asking you to give me an artist statement about your body of work. As we continue this week, you guys will have a lot of opportunities to really work on your artist statement, but this is just an introduction, and I expect you to be able to know what an artist statement is when you come in class. So if you need to watch this again, feel free to watch it again. See you when I see you.